The woman at the register was sure she'd done everything right. She clipped her favorite coupons, double-checked the dates, and watched her total ring up higher than she'd hoped. Then, with a quiet sense of relief, she handed the cashier a small stack of printed coupons, just as she'd done 100 times before. But today, something was different. Without any explanation, the cashier shook her head and slid the coupons back across the counter. No signs, no warnings, just a quiet refusal that caught everyone behind her by surprise. The shopper's face went red with embarrassment as the discounts vanished, her total stayed high, and the line behind her started to grow restless. A manager appeared, offering only a vague, "We don't accept those anymore," before moving on. In that instant, a simple trip to the store turned into a silent showdown, and the reason why left everyone guessing. What's really happening behind the scenes? Why are more stores quietly refusing printed coupons, blindsiding loyal shoppers with no notice at all? The answer is more complicated and more unsettling than most people realize. Not long ago, stores practically begged shoppers to use coupons. Newspaper inserts, weekly mailers, and in-store flyers filled wallets and purses across the country. It was normal to see people in every checkout lane flipping through stacks of paper, shaving dollars off their totals with each scan. For years, cashiers smiled as receipts shrank and loyal customers came back for more. Then, almost overnight, the mood changed. Shoppers who once felt welcome suddenly faced blank stares or apologetic shrugs. Some were told, quietly, that their paper coupons weren't accepted anymore, even if they looked valid and unexpired. What made it worse? Most stores never posted a sign or sent out a warning. People found out the hard way, usually in front of a growing crowd at the checkout. Stories started surfacing online. One shopper recounted how her favorite grocery chain rejected every coupon she handed over, while another was told it's policy now, with no further explanation. The shift wasn't loud or dramatic. It crept in, unannounced, until longtime customers realized something was off. The question lingered in the air. Why the sudden change, and who decided paper coupons were no longer welcome? But as the confusion spread, it became clear that stores weren't just cutting out coupons. They were quietly building something new in their place. While paper coupons were vanishing without a word, something else was taking their place. Digital-only deals tucked behind smartphone screens and loyalty accounts. For anyone willing to download the store's app, link their email, or sign up for a rewards card, a whole new world of discounts appeared. Suddenly, the best prices weren't clipped from newspapers, but tapped out on phones. Stores began offering members-only prices and exclusive app offers, promoting the convenience of digital savings at every turn. It seemed like a win for tech-savvy shoppers, but for many, it felt more like a locked door. Older customers, or anyone without a smartphone, found themselves left behind, forced to pay full price as others zipped through the line with digital barcodes and automatic savings. What looked like progress was actually a clever way to shift control. Shoppers who once stacked paper coupons now had to navigate apps filled with tiny print and hidden catches. Some stores even required users to clip digital coupons before checkout. A small detail that made it easy to miss out on savings with a single tap. The old system was fading fast, and not everyone could keep up. But behind the promise of convenience, another motive was quietly driving the move to digital, and it was about more than just saving a few cents. Beneath the surface, a storm had been brewing, one that most shoppers never even saw coming. In recent years, coupon fraud exploded into a full-blown crisis for retailers. Counterfeit barcodes, doctored print at-home offers, and high-quality forgeries began flooding the market. A single fake coupon could slip past an untrained cashier and cost the store far more than the discount it offered. Some of the biggest names in retail were hit with shocking losses, sometimes totaling millions of dollars in a single year. News quietly spread through the industry about organized groups printing and selling bogus coupons online. The trust that once fueled simple savings started to crumble. For every honest shopper, there were dozens more trying to game the system. Faced with mounting losses and angry suppliers refusing to reimburse them, stores began to see all printed coupons as risky business. Cashiers were quietly trained to be skeptical. When in doubt, refuse, and avoid the headache of another financial hit. But while fraud was a real threat, the crackdown on paper coupons left innocent shoppers caught in the crossfire. What started as a necessary step to protect profits soon turned into a new source of frustration at the checkout. And as the dust settled, stores found a way to change the rules. Without ever having to explain themselves, shoppers began to notice something strange. The old coupon policies they'd relied on seemed to vanish overnight, replaced by vague explanations and ever-shifting rules. One week, a cashier might accept a printed coupon with a smile. The next, the same coupon was quietly pushed back across the counter. There was rarely a sign posted or an announcement made, just a sudden, silent change. Most stores buried their new policies deep on their websites, hidden in pages of fine print that few people ever read. Some updated their apps, adding a line or two about digital-only offers, but never bothered to alert loyal shoppers who still use paper. Even frontline employees often had no idea what the official policy was, forced to improvise when faced with frustrated customers. The result? Confusion at the checkout, tension between staff and shoppers, and a growing sense that nobody really knew what the rules were anymore. For many, the first hint came only when their coupon was refused in front of a waiting crowd, leaving them to pay the full price or walk away empty-handed. But behind the scenes, there was more at play than simple miscommunication. Pressure was building from higher up, forcing stores to take drastic steps, often at the expense of the very people who trusted them most. Behind every quiet policy shift was a force even most store managers couldn't control: national brands and coupon clearinghouses. The companies that actually reimburse stores for honored coupons had started drawing hard lines. Whenever a coupon looked suspicious or was redeemed too often, brands would flat out refuse to pay stores back. That meant every questionable coupon became a financial risk, and suddenly, even legitimate offers were under suspicion. It didn't matter if the shopper had followed all the rules. The threat of losing money was enough to make retailers clamp down across the board. Some stores even received memos warning them that any coupon deemed unusual could cost them thousands in lost reimbursement. Managers responded by setting unspoken limits, telling cashiers to err on the side of caution, and quietly shrinking the list of what was allowed. Loyal shoppers who once relied on printed coupons found themselves stuck in the middle of a battle they didn't even know was happening. And with every dollar at stake, stores became less interested in making exceptions or explaining their reasons. But as frustration simmered in checkout lines, a new backlash was about to erupt, one that stores couldn't ignore for long. The fallout hit shoppers hardest. People who had counted on printed coupons to stretch their budgets suddenly found themselves shut out and embarrassed, often with a line of impatient customers watching. Social media erupted with stories and complaints, some describing how a simple shopping trip ended in tears, others warning friends to avoid certain stores altogether. Posts went viral as frustrated customers shared photos of rejected coupons and receipts that cost twice what they'd expected. Older shoppers and those on fixed incomes felt the sting most. For years, these were the customers stores claimed to value. But now, they were being turned away without warning. The sense of betrayal ran deep. Some promised never to return, while others simply swallowed the extra cost, not wanting to argue in public. The backlash didn't stop at the checkout. Consumer forums and couponing groups began tracking which stores still honored printed discounts and which ones had gone silent. Petitions popped up, demanding more transparency and respect. A wave of mistrust settled over the industry, and the question grew louder. If stores could quietly erase one type of saving, what might they take away next? Yet, even as frustration grew, many shoppers began to suspect that this new reality was no accident. As more stores phased out printed coupons, some shoppers began to question whether it was really about fraud or policy at all. Quiet conversations in online forums and couponing groups pointed to a bigger strategy at work, one that went far beyond stopping fake discounts. The pattern was impossible to ignore. Fewer paper coupons, more digital hoops, and a shrinking number of real deals each year. Some believe it's all about control. By forcing shoppers into digital platforms, stores collect more data, steer people toward full-price items, and make it harder to stack savings. Digital offers can be changed or limited in an instant, and mistakes, like missing a click or forgetting to add a deal, leave customers paying more without even realizing it. It's a subtle push to spend more and save less, wrapped up in the promise of convenience. And for every shopper who quietly accepts the new rules, stores grow bolder, letting old traditions fade away with little fanfare or explanation. What looks like a series of policy changes may really be a calculated move to end the age of couponing altogether. But the shift raises a bigger question. In a world where every advantage seems to slip away, how can everyday shoppers protect themselves and their budgets? Every shopper deserves to know when the rules change, especially when it comes to something as personal as stretching a grocery budget. The quiet disappearance of printed coupons isn't just about saving a few dollars, it's a signal that the balance of power in the checkout lane is shifting. For years, customers relied on clear policies, honest deals, and the simple act of handing over a piece of paper to make every dollar count. Now, that simple exchange is being replaced by silent updates, digital-only deals, and a growing sense that the odds are no longer in your favor. If you've ever felt blindsided at the register, you're not alone. So, many loyal shoppers have been caught off guard by these changes, and their frustration is completely valid. The truth is, no one should feel embarrassed or left out just for trying to save a little money. Sharing your experiences, whether it's a success story, a recent disappointment, or your own tips for beating the system, might help someone else avoid the same surprises. We'd love to hear your stories. Have you run into stores quietly refusing your printed coupons? Do you have a new strategy for saving that others should know about? Leave a comment below, and let's help each other navigate these changes together. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on future updates, tips, and stories. Your support means everything to us, and it helps keep this community strong and informed. Thanks for watching, and remember, staying informed is your best defense in a world where the rules keep changing. Until next time, keep asking questions and keep finding ways to make every dollar count.